like to welcome you all for this most interesting and pertinent debate of the year, the Dabolim Mopa Conundrum. As an expert in the airport and the aviation business, Mr. Khurana, can two airports coexist in a market like Goa? Simple, straightforward question.
If you talk about the commercial viability, as the ICAO report says, even as for a single airport to sustain by itself will be a difficult proposition. There is no question of this number of passengers supporting dual system. Delhi airport at present, with a single airport, is handling about 40 million passengers.
Correct. Mr. Rao, would you agree with the opinion of Mr. Khurana?
Yes, I do agree. But as you said, the whole issue is, can two airports need it and can it sustain? We have got this airport, the Dabolim airport, as a dual user airport. When there was not much of traffic, there was not much of problem between us in the operations. Gradually, we want to expand. The civilian traffic is manifold increasing, and that's openly available in the statistics available to everybody in the public domain. The requirements of the Navy can't be greatly spelt out, but we should also accept that there are requirements for military also. Constant dialogues, debates have always been going on between the Airports Authority and the Navy to see that the window for civil aircrafts is increased. As you know that we have got an embargo between 8:30 in the morning to 1300 hours every day, which is the prime time. Which is the prime time is not available. But that time is also, as they claim, it's more suitable for them for early morning flights, be it training, operational requirements, especially because of the bird flying and other hindrances for their military training is less. Today, Airports Authority, because the airport does not belong to us and we have only a small portion of the assets, only the terminal building, what is visible. ATC is not with us, the runway is not ours, but the apron where the civil aircraft lands and the visible side of the terminal building is with us. With the Goan traffic so far, it has been a sort of this is what we call a civil enclave, where the airport does not belong to Airports Authority, but it belongs to somebody else, and where we are only giving the civilian facility, which is called a civil enclave, is a profitable venture from the Airports Authority point of view. But it is not possible with the present terminal building. You know that people cannot even stand. They cannot, I mean, it's an apology for us when we go there and see how the people are suffering who are paying passenger service fees. And the passenger service fees is a rationalized fees all over the country. Be it, I mean, now of course special fees have been introduced in Delhi, Mumbai and all, that's a different thing. Otherwise, Madurai and Mumbai I used to command the same passenger service fees. So but it is also true that while it's a rationalized one, you can't have this same facilities everywhere. In an effort to give a better passenger amenities, you see that efforts have been made and the new terminal is nearing completion. Now, having invested some 300 odd crores and then some more crores which will have to be invested for the airside aprons and other developments, well, thinking of one more airport was going to be, I mean, one has to think twice even from AI's perspective. Though, what I say, I am no longer belonging to AI, so the views which I am expressing here is only of my personal and not of AI's. But always we used to think, unless we make this investment and recover this investment over a certain number of years, it's not worth the investment.
So in your vast experience, it is pretty evidently clear, as in the ACAO report, that either one of the airports have to exist. Is that what you're getting at?
That's right. See, the question is, it is a situation that devil and the deep sea, economics on one side and sustainability on the other side, that's a sort of a devil and the deep sea situation is there.
But once the new terminal comes up with the 11 aero bridges that they have been talking about, they currently are doing about 3.5 million passengers coming in.
That's right.
They expect to go to about 6 to 7 million passengers. Ironically, the Aman Vitri reports talks about Goa reaching about 8 million to 10 million passengers by 2034. Now, the Dabolim airport itself, the new wing that is coming up, that can cater to 7 to 8 million passengers. So what is the need for the government to initiate, even though it's a private entity, to invest, to go into a 2,500, 4,000 crore project? Do you think it is a rational decision?
As I said, it's very difficult to answer that. We normally talk of anything, any project as a techno-economic feasibility, but there is something more than what is sometimes techno-economic feasibility produces. As I said, now the restrictions of the civil aircraft movements to and fro Goa airport, Dabolim airport, is one of the great constraints. This acts as a uneven passenger distributions when the bunching takes place. If the debunching takes place, automatically there will be a decongestion. So we have been trying moving heavens and earth with the defense ministry for the last maybe about a decade or even more. And I had been there about the last 3-4 years, very concerted efforts we made, but it has been very difficult. So, but at the same time, the passengers and the public, they were demanding the value for money, therefore the terminal building at least had to be constructed.
Correct.
Given an option for economics, we would say no, until the 8:30 to 1 o'clock that embargo goes, we will not construct, we should say, but we can't do that. Finally, the public will be the sufferers. So looking at the public, notwithstanding whatever happens to the investment, for an immediate benefit, this terminal building has been constructed. It will give you relief for quite some time, and but if international flights and even the domestic flights have to come, these restrictions of 8:30 to 1 o'clock well has to go.
But wouldn't in that context, sir, wouldn't it be necessary for the state government to have a dialogue with the center, continuous and firm dialogue, to bring about a relaxation, or does that make sense for us to go in for a new airport?
I think we need to talk rational. I am not holding brief for anybody, but I would like to be very, very perceptive, feeling which a true person who is using this facility. What is the size of Delhi airport and what is the size of Dabolim airport? Has he said that? No. You asked him a leading question, he gave you a leading answer. That doesn't give an exact replica of what exactly Delhi is offering. Is it the same size or is it 10 times the bigger size? Am I right or am I wrong? Bigger size. So you cannot expect Dabolim to give the same service as what Delhi is giving. Anyway, let me tell you one simple, are we talking about development, are we talking about future, or are we talking about what we have to stay within our pond and act like a frog and say that I am good enough and I should not go beyond? Let me tell you, sir, very humbly, although I would say that I am not holding brief for anybody, I would like to say for the future of Goa, unfortunately today, we have something which is not happening. We are not giving any opportunity for our youth to stay back in Goa. 82% of the students have migrated in last 5 years who have graduated from here. Who is responsible for this? Am I not responsible equally like others? And how they are going to come back and go back? Are we not going to give them facilities when they can afford to come by flight? Why should they not be given an opportunity? I'll just finish in 2 minutes. I'll not take more than that. This present airport which is there, as you only said, it is going to cater to 4 million. He would tell me that per passenger there is certain area specified. Right or wrong?
Correct.
It is correct. So then is that area available there? It is not. Second aspect, how many flights can land and how many flights can go? We are getting 900 charters come to Goa today. we could have got 1800 because the slots are not available, they cannot come. We could have, we are talking about high-end
Let me
tourism.
interrupt you here. You know, utilization of the airport of Dabolim
Yes.
is unused properly.
Let me complete mine, then you, please, let me complete mine, then you can start. Today in Europe you go, they don't utilize their airport at night. You tell me which airport is operating at night. 1 minute, let me complete, and then you please, you are free to say. But one thing I'll tell you, we are optimal utilization is happening. Second aspect, they have spent more than 300 crores now for this Dabolim, which no person in sane mind will close that airport. And I for one will stand that it should run to its full capacity. And let me tell you, we are not taking consideration. There are 15,000 crores of medicines being manufactured in Goa, which not a single rupee is being exported from Goa. Reason being the cargo facilities. The Dabolim airport doesn't have, he will tell you, additional space
you
for
know, all this
creating.
services what you're talking about, I am also an expert in cargo for your information.
That is why let me
for
complete.
your information.
Please counter me after I finish.
Okay, thank you.
Or you talk first, I'll talk later.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
I would like to tell you, because I know firsthand that these things are going to Mumbai or other airports. Second aspect, we can definitely, see there are a lot of things which go to Middle East. Meat, perishable goods, you may be an expert, but tell me where are the cold chains available here? Where are the facilities to store the pharmaceuticals available here? Where are the facilities for people to come and operate within these precincts? These facilities are not available precisely because there is no space, and secondly we cannot have, because security of India cannot be compromised. That is the first and foremost thing. I am not saying that, you know, this airport can be used for passengers to and fro, and it has to be used to the fullest of its capacity. Correct. But the extra thing, we need to think of it, we need to think for the future, and then we can take adequate care. And I think the second airport is not going to be detrimental for the development of Goa. On the contrary, it will help the development stage of Goa.
So what you're really saying, Mr. Riker, is that in your opinion, you can still have Dabolim, and Mopa itself also tends to give you the added impetus for the economic growth of Goa. Is that what you're saying? What do you have to say, Vito?
Mr. Riker, for my knowledge, I've been in aviation for the last 30 years. I have been working in many airports around the world, big, small, and Goa is very dear to me too. Utilization of Goa airport is not gone to the maximum at any given time. We are talking about the closure of the airport between 8:30 to 1:30. Leaving aside that, every day there are 7 to 8 parking lots available after those hours. I've operated many flights into Goa, private flights. You know, I'll give you one of the examples. I had an ambulance flight, medevac. You know what AI told me when I called them? It's an ambulance flight. What is it for? For somebody who is dying. So I asked them to give me a slot to come in. They told me, please change your slot timing. When I asked them why, it is a medical flight. They said, can you get a permission from Navy? Okay. So things like this, there are so many issues. I had charters flights also. So what I'm saying is, there is a plenty. We are talking about 3.5 million today. Our airport, smaller than this, which is a Rhodes Island, which is a touristic destination, and they are handling with the, you know, they have the size of the airport is just 14.8 acres, whereas Goa airport is 35 acres of civilian airport.